this is Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And today, thanks to the folks at RobotKingdom.com, we are going to be taking a look at the brand new Planet X Genesis figure, aka the not War for Cybertron Omega Supreme. And as you can see, this is a huge package. This is absolutely mammoth sized. I really honestly could not believe just how big this was when I got the box for it just delivered to me. I know this is a really bad example, but here is the Transformers Prime First Edition Optimus. And as you can see, this thing is just, it's absolutely massive. I mean, you can see how tall it is, and it's amazing to me. Simply amazing. But what's even more cool, I mean, you flip it around here, and you got all these wonderful details on here. Come around here to the back, absolutely gorgeous artwork here of the figure itself, kind of in the whole war scene. I mean, this is really superb artwork on here. I'm absolutely impressed with the way this looks. The box for this is just mind-boggling. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin with it. I mean, that's really about it. But when you come around to the front of it, it's really cool. It actually has a kind of like a book box feature where it actually opens up, and on the inside it reveals the figure, and it's nicely held on there by magnets, which is really very cool. And then you open it up, and then on the side, obviously you see the figure. You got some images here of the robot mode. You got him in his spaceship mode or whatever. Then you come around here, and then you have the images of him again, the back side, and then the back side, obviously, of his spaceship. And then the figure itself, and I know that there's a glare there, and there's not really much I can do about the glare, but we're going to get him open, though, and you're going to see how cool this thing is. But this is massive. Honestly, I cannot tell you how just impressed I am by the size of this. Now, in addition to that, I also got these little bits right here. They're little lights that I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna look this up, and when I get to the actual review, I'll clarify it. But I believe these only came if you pre-ordered this guy. I could be wrong, and like I said, I will double check and verify that. But I mean, I just like pushing buttons. I don't know. They're there. But this thing is just huge. Absolutely huge. I'm going to have to pull out some of my bigger figures to really give you guys a good size comparison here. But yeah, that's it. Let's get them open, though, and see how cool this thing really is. Alright guys, so here we have Genesis opened up out of its packaging and in his spaceship mode. Now, before I go any further, I want to explain to some people what this actually is. Because people that aren't in the know may get confused by this guy. Genesis is a recreation by a third-party company known as Planet X. It's recreating the War for Cybertron Omega Supreme. Now, this is an unofficial product, and it is not officially licensed by Hasbro or Takara Tomy. That's basically what third party means. Now, this is not available in retail stores or anything like that. The only way that you can get this is by going to Robot Kingdom or Captured Prey. Those are the only two places that I know of that are currently keeping stock of this particular figure. And that might very well be because of the sheer price on this guy. This figure is $299. When you factor in shipping, you're going to be paying probably about $375, maybe $400 for this. Now, that's already going to get a lot of people freaking out about really the cost of the thing, and is it worth it? Well, hopefully I will help answer some of those questions for you guys. Now, I did go on Robot Kingdom's website, and I did clarify that according to their description, these little lights do come with the actual figure. And I'm going to show you, they do have the light and everything. All you really have to do, I'm going to insert one of them. One part came undone. You got the little bit right here. It's on a little spring. All you do is put it in. There, let's see. If I put it in that way, maybe. Put it in and rotate it, and now you have that inside there. You can also do it, there's a total of 5 of them. You can do it here in the front, which will become his giant cannon arm. Peg it in, rotate it around, and it stays in there nicely. And then you can see it lights up a lot inside there. He does have one on this side as well, little thruster doodad right there. You can come around here to the back. This is his jet engine. Again, little spring in there. Take this, push that in, rotate that around, and now he's got a thruster here on the back. The one that I can't figure out what to do with, and hopefully at some point in time somebody is gonna know where to do it. He does come with 5, and it's supposed to go in his chest, which apparently is what lights up in his robot mode. I don't think it really does anything in his spaceship mode, but I have no idea how to actually plug that in, so that really does kind of suck. But you can see that by adding those on there, it gives a really nice look to it. I mean, you got the cannon here in the front, obviously. You got the little thruster kind of things here in the back. I mean, it just, in general, a very big, very nice looking piece. Now, a lot of people have complained about it kind of being ugly. It's basically how it looked in the show, or in the video game, which I have no problem with, to be totally honest, but some people are probably not going to like it. Now, this thing is massive, like massively massive. I don't know how many times I can say massive without sounding completely stupid, but I probably already did. For a size comparison, here's the War for Cybertron Megatron. And I mean, you don't really get a good scale of it here in the vehicle mode, but it's just so freaking huge. I mean, it's really big. One problem that I guess I would have is that these little sections here like to droop, so it kind of brings his cannon here on the side down. You can really see it on this one where it's drooping down. You can lift it up and there's a ratchet joint right there, but I really wish that on the inside, like here, if I open this up, there's 2 little like notches right here. I really wish there was a way that they could have made it where that pegged into something, just to kind of keep these up and nice and stationary in that upright position. But that's I guess that's a minor nitpick. He does have some really cool turrets in this mode. Now, you have them right here, and they rotate. They're kind of ball jointed, and what's really neat is you can rotate them around, and they actually hide, which is really very cool. And then you just push them and rotate them out again, and boom, there you have them. You got one right here. You got some down here on the bottom. Come around here to this side. You got one right here, and then you got one right here, just basically opposite sides. But honestly, beyond that though, I mean, that's Genesis's spaceship mode. Again, some people have complained about it because, well, it is very Cybertronian, and I don't want to say ugly, but it is very kind of weird. Now, people have talked about potential base modes for this. The instructions do not give any kind of indication about that. Now, for his instructions, they come in this plastic, and it's all this big, giant, just lifting up here, really big kind of paper. It's in this plastic, like I said. You got a little bit of a read-up right here that says, an ancient guardian Genesis was created to protect the planet X Gate from evil. For a long time, Planet X maintained its peace. He allowed himself in hibernation stage for thousands of years. Now, the time of civil war has come. The planet has corrupted by evil powers. Remaining peacekeepers attempt to save the world by accessing the planet core and awakening the last protector. To their surprise, Genesis owns a heavy destructive power far more beyond their expectation. By morphing into space cruiser, Genesis can able to carry troops to any tactical spot on the planet. The strike back begins. Very poorly written, but you see that's the instructions, and there's nothing on the other side, or I should say the inside of it. And then he does come with a little bio card. It just has an image that's upside down, but image of him, and it says, as a guardian of Planet X core, Genesis's weapons are as mightiest as his ancient wisdom. His space cruiser mode serves as a large army transport and provides prompt counterstrike. No one stands on his way for 1,000 years until now. Okay, somebody really should help them with writing their bios and such. But that's really about it for his spaceship mode. Like I said, people have talked about him having a base mode. I can't confirm that beyond what I will be able to actually show you in this video. There are no instructions to really kind of indicate that, but there are some definite hints that really kind of showcase something that really might lead to a base mode that hopefully I'll be able to show you, because This is a very, very large figure, and honestly, I really dislike reviewing large figures. Now, the transformation for him is a bit of a complicated thing. It's not too terribly bad. I suppose the biggest issue with him is it's just how big he is. I mean, this thing is just so massive, he really becomes cumbersome to kind of really transform and manipulate. So to transform him, first what you want to do, come around here. These just peg right in, so just go ahead and remove both of those. Pull them off on the side, and then take this section here, rotate this around, like so. Do that on this side as well. Come around here. Now, what I do to actually make things a little bit easier is detach the arms. They are meant to be detached. You can detach them fairly easily. So, basically, while you had this pegged up in here, you can see where a little latch is right inside there. Just kind of lift that up, pull that out, angle this down, and then just kind of pull this apart just like so. One piece definitely to be aware of is these little small tabs right in here. I do not notice any stress marks on them yet, but they are pretty small, so you might want to be careful with that. So open this up, bring this in, that's going to tab in right there. Oh, actually, bring these two halves together. So it's easier to actually do it this way. Bring these two halves together, give them a nice squeeze like so, then bring them together. And I'll just line up the tabs. Boom, bring this back like so. Bring this down, bring this down, bring this back, and then down as well. And actually, here you have one of his arms, and this is a very large arm. That's definitely going to be something you guys are going to notice, just how big his arms are. Then come around here. Again, we're just going to detach the arms here just to make things a little bit easier. So lift this section here. Bring this whole section down, rotate this out, and then again, kind of pull this apart. Actually, I'm going to leave this in there for just a second. It is very hard to get the last joint completely straight, so you might have to put it back in there just to kind of get some torque on it. Now, this is what I wanted to kind of show you guys. Set this up like so. Now, G1 wise, and this is why a lot of people say that a base mode is actually designed into this, they just don't put the instructions, so maybe they're working on a third-party thing, and I actually believe that I remember seeing images kind of showing this particular figure in a base mode sort of thing with a third-party thing, but I really don't remember. Now, if you look on here, these are specifically designed. On the inside here are little notches that kind of line up. You can actually bring these two halves together and actually extend this bit out just like so. Kind of put your finger on there just to kind of hold it there. Then bring these two halves together, and it's a little bit tricky, but boom. Now, look what you have going on here, guys. Then you have a little notch right here and right here. On the inside, you lift this section up, you have a little hole section right there. Bring this up, peg that in, do that on this side as well. Give that a good squeeze. Doesn't really stay together all that well unless you get it positioned just properly. And here you have a rocket for him. If that doesn't scream G1, I don't know what does. But I'm just gonna set that right back there. And yeah, see this, it pops out sometimes. There we go. That's, I mean, it's kind of a big fat rocket, but hey, it's a rocket. That's very freaking cool. If this thing does have a base mode, I cannot wait to see it. I wish I could show you guys, but this is obviously something that was incorporated into the design. So this really leads me to believe that there is a base mode for this. Now for the rest of the figure, take this, kind of straighten all this out. You want to untab this from down here and just angle this out. And then this actually is a tough bit. You kind of rotate this down, and then this whole section right here tabs into this big giant torso bit. So you kind of have to pull on it just like so to get it to actually loosen up. Rotate this around, get these out of the way. You're going to bring that down, bring this in like so. Rotate this, like so, just getting everything rotated down on, and it's very, very cumbersome. Now these little bits just popped off. They're just little ball joints, like I said, just put it right back in there. Then come around here, do that on this side, untab this, bring it down, just kind of give this a little pull right, just like so. Again, rotate all this down and around. Then this section here on the little turret fell off again. This section here is going to be the front of them, so you want to kind of line everything up where that's going to be the front. So bring this all in. This locks together right like so. Bring this down, rotate that around, rotate his foot all the way around, fold out his little toes, straighten that all out. That was rotated around the way. Do that on this side as well. Very heavy ratchet joints on every part of this, with the exception of one ratchet joint, which really needs it, does not have it, and that really kind of sucks. But there you have his legs basically done. Now, coming up a little higher, just kind of angle this, pull this, detach this section like so. Then you need to rotate these bits around. And these little turret pieces do like popping off. They just pop right back on. Just rotate that around. Get these little top sections. Just get these off to the back section here like so. Bring that around. Bring these up, and they will tab in on the inside right there, just like so. Do that on this side as well. Actually, you rotate that around. The turrets stay on the bottom section. Give that a nice little squeeze, and then you have the you have the turret right here. Now, like I said, they keep popping off just because they're ball joints. I mean, that's how they're designed to be in there. But you can just rotate these around and have these hiding here. You can do that on the same side, or do the same thing here on the back. Just peg that in there and then rotate that down like so. And I absolutely love how that's actually designed. You got the little slot right there that just brings it out. I mean, that's really pretty cool. Then come around here to the back, take this on pegs, just shift that over. That locks that half together. Do that on this side as well. Slide this over, peg that in, bring that down, bring this over, then rotate these arms down and around, just like so. Do that on this side as well, bring that down, rotate it around. And actually, I did make a mistake, lift these up, but it's a mistake that really doesn't honestly matter all that much, because the arms are pretty much identical. But as you can see, there's little holes right here that this side doesn't have. But everything is identical with these arm bits. You got the little orange clear bit right here, you got the gold bit, you got the turret. I mean, everything is identical. But you come around to the other side, and I realized that I didn't put in the extra bits here and here just to kind of close things off. They actually do give you a little baggie that you can do that with. So it really doesn't matter which way you put the arms, or at least this section right here. It can be reversed. Now, coming up even higher, we're going to come around here to the back section and rotate these around like so, and then these come in. And there's this little bit right here, I guess. There we go. Peg that in. Well, keep that little section here on the front, and then push this down. And then you're gonna see. I'm trying to show you guys all this. There's this little notch right here that pegs into there. That just give that a push, and that pegs in just like so. Do that on this side as well. Rotate this kind of around. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to do. Honestly, it's more of a pain in the butt than it should be, but there we go. I made it difficult. It really isn't that difficult to do, to be totally honest, guys. Peg that in like so, then open these bits here on the side, just like that. Then this whole section folds out, and then this bit right here, you want to rotate this around, bring this all the way up, that locks into place, and then bring these halves together. The bottom one's a little bit more tricky to line up, but there you have his G1 kind of looking track right up there. Do that on this side as well. Open all this,
Come on. It helps if, again, you have fingernails that I don't have. So bring that up. You're going to rotate that around. Peg that into place. Bring these together. Bring these together like so. Spin him around. Kind of angle his torso. Now, he is fairly top heavy. And you can see he wants to lean back, but you can actually lean him forward, and this thing has a lot of joints on them, which really helps this figure. So come around here, I'm going to take these apart, then just pull those, take this, have that extended out, bring these together like so, kind of do whatever you really want with his claw here. And there's a lot of articulation in this as well, and I'll get to that here in a second, but just come around here and then peg that in and rotate that around. There's one arm. Come around here to this. Now, you don't have to take the arms off. He doesn't have to be a parts former, I suppose, but it makes it easier because these arms are very heavy, and it really kind of makes him a very tough figure to manipulate. And then for the last piece, you come around here, and actually I probably should have did this first because it's a bit of a pain in the butt. Pull this section out, and this thing is really freaking awesome. Now usually it's not this difficult, but you see how that little piece right there comes up. I probably should have lifted that up. It goes back further, but I opened these up, so I just made it difficult for myself. He comes with he's a tank. He can be a tank, guys. I mean, how cool is that? Just rotate that around, bring that around, and his head can be a tank. I mean, this is another little hint that makes this guy seem like he could actually have a base mode. And this is absolutely fantastic. Now, one thing I don't get is it actually rotates out here. Again, I have no idea why. There's no instructions for it. That's one thing that does actually kind of bug me, that the built-in little hidden details, we don't know what they're for because there's no instructions. Now, people have complained about this. His face is just this solid kind of gold color. This can actually be removed. If you come around here to the bottom, you can see that there's a little screw on the inside here. These two halves come together, and this section completely can detach. So I do believe that at some point in time, a third-party company or something of that nature will come along and give us a face if that's what you really guys, if you want. But I really like the way that looks. I think that's very sharp. Yes, there's no face, but it still really looks like Omega Supreme. So then you just slide that right back in there, bring that top section down, bring this down, that tabs down, just kind of extend this up. Then these little bits right here, you fold these, hold on, if I can actually do it right, fold these out. These little bits will line up here, and actually I have that wrong. When you come around here, there's a little section right here. This actually has to get flipped all the way around to give you clearance to do all this stuff. So you bring that back. There we go. And then bring this down. That tabs in right like so. Did I do that on that side too? Yeah, I guess I did. I thought I actually already rotated that around, but I didn't. There we go. So just rotate that little square triangle thing right there around. Bring that around. And that pops off. Peg that in just like so. Bring this down. Peg that. Fix that. Straighten out his head. Stretch it out. And guys, here you have Omega Supreme. And this thing, like I said, is massive. This also rotates. I have no idea why that rotates, but it does. But this thing is huge. Absolutely huge. Now, for a couple size comparisons, here you have him next to Megatron. Yeah, see Megatron? Here, let me do that. There's Megatron. Yeah. This guy is massive. Absolutely massive. And now for what I honestly think is the best comparison. Here is the TFC Toys Hercules. Even if you don't include the giant wings here. Omega Supreme towers over this guy. I mean, it's so impressive. So very impressive. And I just love how, without even actually posing it or designing it, Hercules is looking up to Omega Supreme. Or I'm sorry, Genesis.
As for the figure itself, one thing that's really impressive about it is a figure this size, I would really kind of imagine to have a very big problem kind of balancing. And he does. He's definitely a very heavy figure. This guy weighs a little over 4 pounds by himself. But all the articulation that's built into him really does allow you to really kind of do just about anything that a giant robot this size should be able to do, I guess. I mean, he's not tiny, so he's not going to be doing a lot of, like, crazy ninja poses or something. He's just going to be a towering mess that just goes around and just is. But for his articulation, his head isn't on a ball joint, but you can get it looking left, right, up, down. It does rotate fairly nicely, so you get a nice range of motion with that. The biggest problem that I suppose I have would be the ratchet joints here in his shoulders. You bring him up, and you can see that it's because of the weight of his arm, you can get him, I mean, and it's going to start leaning forward, but once you kind of angle things back, now you can actually get them holding it all the way out. The problem, though, is that ratchet joint isn't nearly as good as other ratchet joints. Like, for example, you hear this one moving out. I mean, that's a very strong ratchet joint. So it moves in and out. It rotates forward, back, all the way around. It rotates here at the bicep. It bends here at the elbow, so that's a good level of articulation. This one does the exact same thing. Rotates here at the shoulder. Oh, my arm's in the way so you can't see anything. But then again, it's a very delicate balance to get him to keep his arm up like that. This joint just isn't as tight as some of the other ones. And a little piece flew out because that's a little peg right there. So that's one of the other problems that you're going to see. This. So that is one part that would make me worried about this. And looking at it, I'm trying to see if this is actually stressed. It doesn't appear to be stressed in here, but it's a problem. I mean, just by moving it around, you have to go very slowly and kind of hold it to get it to actually ratchet. So there's that. It does rotate, and this little peg does not stay in there very well. It's this bit right here that keeps popping out. They're just pegs that you put in by yourself, so if that pops out, who cares? He does rotate. Get the arms out. It's so big to manipulate. He does rotate at the waist. He also moves forward and back, which allows you to, again, really kind of balance him. And you can see, you can get some wide poses with the guy. It just depends on how well you balance him. So that articulation, it's really very impressive. The legs move forward and back. They move kind of in and out on this little extra joint right here that you can extend outward. He rotates at the upper part of the knee. He also rotates at the lower part of the knee, and I'm just going to prop him back there just to show you. So he does have 2 rotation joints there, so you can take his knee and really kind of contort it in a weird position if you, for whatever reason, wanted to. His feet are very nicely articulated. I know a lot of people were questioning that, about how well his feet are gonna hold him up, just because of how small they really kind of look. And as you can see, I mean, compared to the rest of his body, they are a fairly small foot. So you might have a problem with just the way that looks, but this articulation on here, a very strong ratchet joint there. They move forward and back, they pivot in and out, and then the feet also are on pivot, so again, you can get some good posability with it. Some nice wide poses, and honestly, like I said, it is just a matter of getting him balanced in the proper way to get him to really kind of do just about anything that you want. And that's one thing that is really very cool about him. Now, again, his arm requires some balancing. If you're going to put it out, you need to do a little bit more balancing with his, like, say, back leg. But there you go. I mean, it does work, and it is possible to do, despite
just how heavy and massive these things are. It's so absolutely impressive. Now, in terms of his accessories, now I kind of showed you them before with his actual spaceship mode, and I mean, these joints are really strong, so I definitely like the fact that these joints are as stiff as they really need to be for them. And then, I'll just get them to kind of actually stand like so. Now, like I said, these little light doodads, they still work. You can plug them in on his feet here. Rotate there. Well, now you have an ankle light for him. He's wearing the Reebok ankle lights. That's what we're going to call them. And like I said, you just put them in and then you rotate them around and boom, there they are. Same thing with this cannon on his arm. Just position him, open these. Oh, and I forgot to mention that these little fingers are articulated. They got a joint here, and then these the individual fingers here also move all the way around. So again, nice level of articulation. Take the light, put it in there. And then one thing that's really very cool is you have this whole section right here that you can actually rotate. There we go. And it rotates the fist, which, I mean, that's cool to do. I mean, just spin that around and do whatever you want. Here, we'll just angle that out. And then spinny, 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 spinny. So, I mean, it's really, there's a lot of play factor with this, which is really quite impressive, if you ask me. Now, the other thing, and then just, I'll usually angle that just to kind of further balance him a little bit better. Now, not quite balanced right. There we go. Get that out like so. Now, he also does have his gun turrets in this mode that can also rotate. You just take these, push them down, and then he's got his gun turret there. Come up to the top. He also has some up here. There's my arm. I'm sorry, guys. There's one. There's the other. And then actually, if you flip around here on the back, you have the other turrets, and then you got turrets at the top part here as well. So this dude can fire at you 360 degrees and really mess you up if he wanted to. It's just such a very impressive figure. Honestly, I'm amazed at how this figure is for a company that, you know, this is their first thing that they're doing. I mean, they're not coming at us, you know, with small stuff. This is a big, huge thing. It's massive, and I'm absolutely impressed with this thing. My biggest complaint, like I said, would probably be I wish that these were a little bit tighter, because as you could hear with all the other joints, I mean, all of them are very strong ratchet joints. These just are a little bit weaker, I think. And I think there should be more of a heft factor on those particular joints in addition to like the legs and things of that nature. In terms of the color scheme, I absolutely love what they did with it. I love how it's kind of a dulled down version of the G1 figure. The red is a darker, you got the yellow, which is more of a mustard color. Really very impressive looking. It's very cool. And then my other kind of nitpick would be their instructions. To be totally honest, their instructions aren't very good, and I really wish they included all the features with this, not kind of leave it around for somebody else to discover or whatever. Now, I mentioned the chest piece. I really love the chest on here. You got this little thing right here that does spin around, and it's perfectly shaped for an Autobot logo that I'm sure Repro Labels will do for us at some point in time. But I love how the whole design here really does kind of look like an Autobot logo. I mean, I think that's very cool. The thing that I don't get is where this light is supposed to go. One's supposed to go here in the chest. I have no idea how to put it in there. I haven't been able to find that. So that, to me, kind of sucks. That's, like I said, that's an instruction sort of thing that I really wish that they actually included, just so that we're not going around guessing, especially since they are including these lights, which, like I said, originally these were supposed to be just pre-order exclusives. If you pre-ordered it, you got these lights with it. But it appears, at least from their description on the Robot Kingdom website, that all of them are coming with this. So it would have been nice to know where you're supposed to put them. Now, to transform him back into his spaceship mode, I'm going to remove these lights. I'm doing this definitely this time because this figure is very tough to transform, at least in my opinion, into the actual spaceship mode. The rest of getting him in a robot is definitely easier, but when you get him, obviously he's packaged in the robot form. So I have to show you guys this. Now again, just to make things easier, I am going to remove the arms. You don't have to. You can transform him with these arms and everything still attached. It's just, these are really heavy and they kind of get in the way. So I'm just going to take these off and set them off to the side for right now. And then when you take those off, there's no problem with this guy standing. So I mean, all the weight really is kind of in his actual arms. Go ahead and tuck these turrets away. You don't need those out anymore. Rotate that around up at the top. Then come around here to the side. You're going to open both of these panels, top and bottom. Rotate this bit right here all the way around to create a straight line, and then bend that down and tuck it in there. Bring these together, close these. Do that on the bottom section as well, just like so. Come around to the other side. Again, open these side doors up, rotate this panel around, bring it down, put it inside there, close these doors back up, and the bottom flaps are a little bit tougher to line up than the top ones, which is really kind of weird. All right, so now you have that done. Come around here to the back. You're going to loosen this, lift that up, fold that down just like so. Do that on this side as well. Fold that down, and then detach these from their back pegs. They're just going to flop down. Open this back section up. Oh well, it's actually supposed to come out. That's kind of strange, because as you can see, it just pegs in there. But again, instructions that are not included, which really is very unfortunate, because I have no idea now what I'm supposed to do with that. And then just take that, push his head down, and bring this down. You kind of want to get his cannon situated between there you go. Get his head all the way back there. There we go. Then bring that down like so, and then bring that down just like that. Come around here to the arms. You're going to untab these. Do that on this side as well. Now, going into his actual spaceship mode does matter how you line these up, and I'm probably going to get it wrong. So odds are I'm probably going to get it wrong here initially. Just angle these down, then rotate this around like so. And I'll show you how you'll be able to tell here in a couple minutes, but for me it's just a gigantic mess right now. Then rotate this. You're going to bring this up. That's just going to kind of sit there. Oh, you should take these bits as you bring this up. That's going to lock into position. Well, here, let's do this side first. Bring this up. And actually, I do apologize. Again, I had this wrong. So you want to make sure that when you're rotating this around, get these out of the way, you're rotating his back, or I'm sorry, his front to the back of his leg area. Then you're going to bring this up, and now that will lock together right like so. Just kind of angle that down. There's nothing really to do with that right now. Come around here to this. You're going to, where's that piece at? Bring this whole section around like so. Then you're going to bring this up as well, and that's going to lock into position right there. Then right on the side, you got the little clear bit right there. You have to rotate this little doodad around so that you can actually line it up and fit it inside there. So rotate that little, it's kind of in the shape of Nevada. The little peg, or the little post thing here in the shape of Nevada. Rotate that around so that you can line that up and get it in just like so. Now, come around here, lift this cod piece, separate that off to the side, do that on the back as well. That will allow you to pull these apart. It's really stiff here as well. Pull that out, pull that out. You're going to rotate this around, and you're going to bring this up. Now, this is where you'll be able to tell. These little thrusters here on the back have to peg underneath here, and actually it looks like I have it right, which is a first. So bring this up, give that a good push, lock that into place like so. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that around, bring that up, give it a good push right up in there, just like that. And you're starting to get it how you're supposed to have it, believe it or not. Angle this, that's going to peg in there, that's going to peg in there. So, and these are actually different, so there is a specific way that you're supposed to do it. And God, you could probably just do that for a base mode or something, I guess. I don't know. I'm so uncreative with things like that. Then you want to rotate this around, rotate it at this joint out, then bring that up just like so. Do that on this side as well. Rotate it around, rotate it at this joint, and then rotate this up just like so. And I really hope you guys can see this, because I'm not able to really watch my camera while I'm doing this, so I do apologize. So from here, you're going to take this section, you're going to, pinch yourself, rotate this up, take this guy, this is going to be the thruster, open this up, extend that down. Okay, so you're going to want to get it like this, where it's going to be lifted up like so, and then you want to connect here. Oh, I'm sorry, actually you want to connect it here where the open section here is on the bottom. Bring that in just like so, and then you're going to angle that down. And that, see, that always kind of loosens up there. Bring that together. Keep this down. And that just separates. So bring that on top. It's so hard to do this with how heavy it is. I'm sorry, guys. Then bring that down. And that's him with his little thruster thing on the back. And then you can position these however really you want. It's all personal preference, I suppose, but I like something like that. Okay, so now we're coming around here to the front section. And again with this, you just open this up like so, like so, like so, like so. These on tab, set that off to the side, fold this down and around. Then bring this, you're going to rotate this around, take that section, you're actually going to rotate that all the way down like so. So take this little bit right underneath here, there's a little tiny thing right there, you're going to bring that out, bring that down, that locks into place like so. And actually, again, I apologize. You want to peg this in here because, again, it's easier to move this joint when it's already pegged in. So give that a good push, angle that down, keep that section up, bring that down. Then you can push that little peg in right like so. Then you have that front section done. Come around here. This is kind of tough to separate. Just kind of get something to wiggle in there, and there we go. Just separate it, and then kind of pull down here at the bottom, separating the peg down here at the bottom. You don't want to go too hard because you don't want to break that peg. You don't want to pull it on an angle, so there we go. Then rotate these bits around like so. Kind of, again, position this however you want. Come around here to the foot, and then you're going to plug it in right there on that side. Come around to this side, do the same thing, rotate that around, angle this out just a little bit, and peg that in right like so. And whew, here you have Omega Supreme back in his spaceship mode. Now, I do want to apologize to you guys because I honestly do not feel like I have brought this review to you in the best possible way. The sheer size of this figure really does kind of ruin my setup and my routine. So I really do hope you guys got a good look at this and answered some of your questions. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to send me a message or leave a comment asking me. I'll try to get to them as much as possible. And if you do have a question, I would encourage you to read through all the other questions and comments to see if somebody asked something that you also are curious about. I might have already answered it. So to save me some trouble of re-answering the same question 7,000 times, I would appreciate it if you guys would go through and read the comments before posting a question. Beyond that though, I absolutely love this figure. At $300, it is a very expensive figure. But what makes it worse is you're buying it all at once. Now, I was talking to some people and I used the comparison that when you think about it, we paid $600 for Hercules. 6 figures at $100 a piece. This is half the price, and it's bigger than Hercules is. Now, yes, Hercules had 6 individual robots, but even when you take a look at just say 3 of those robots compared to this one, there's no contest, in my opinion. In addition to that, we're getting $200 masterpiece figures. To me, this is a masterpiece Transformer. This is really very impressive. I am absolutely thrilled that I got it, and the fact that it was $300 really doesn't bother me anymore. I was kind of concerned because it was an unknown company, and I was kind of putting my faith in them and giving them $300, and honestly, I don't feel like I overpaid for this. Aside from my Fort Max and my Brave Max, this is now the biggest Transformer in my entire collection. And honestly, this guy comes up to about the midriff section on Fort Max. That's how big this guy is. So $300 to me is well worth the price. If you are interested in picking him up, I understand some people can't, but if you are, go ahead and click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to robotkingdom.com and you'll be able to pre-order this or order it, depending on when you actually guys watch this video. And I hope you did enjoy this look at the Planet X Genesis figure. Until next time, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.